they do even no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, and people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. It is the noon time with Mayegun. And if you by any chance stumble on this, please share the broadcast, okay? It is also an open mic where you too can be part of this. You know, the number is right there on the screen. You can join me and contribute like everyone else. Over 200 people were kidnapped from an IDP camp in Borno State yesterday. And not even a single word from the government of Nigeria. And you still think you have a country.
And yes, tonight, very Facebook. And yes, tonight,
it is morning in so many places and already noon in other places. Whatever the time is, at yours, top of the day to you. You can join us. There is no rage, there is no flag, there is no march, there is no protest. 200 victims of terrorism in Nigeria were kidnapped in the place provided for them by the government, I believe. Internally displaced persons camp, refugee camp, and there is no rage anywhere. And just same way, last night, Fubara. Yes, Mayegun today. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live. And if you have taken your time to read the caption of the broadcast, the description as well, they can give you the idea of what this conversation is all about. And if it is breakfast time at yours, just share the broadcast and you can listen to this in the background. However, the news of over 200 people kidnapped in Nigeria, Borno State. There's also another set of, Nigerians who have come under attacks that has now been classed as like secret coded ethnic cleansing going on in Taraba. In all of this, Some of you are probably going to be hearing this for the first time. And because Nigeria has become a place where you see things like this, they happen so often that it has become a crime to even report them or talk about them. In fact, they want people to, pretend that they are not happening. People have grown so cold that when they hear the news like, oh, terrorists killed 150 people, people just read them like reading, oh, Liverpool beat Arsenal. Oh, Arsenal beat Manchester. More or less like just some passive news that, because people have been so belabored with so much economic hardship that those who are still alive, they are barely living. And therefore, people who live like, they live from hand to mouth and they live for the day. They have become so cold to news like this. The government of Nigeria have become so like disinterested. If you become a victim, if I become a victim of the Fulani terrorism in any part, I should not see myself as the first victim. So I should see myself as probably one of those. And for those who are still here, they should see themselves as lucky enough that if they live long enough, maybe they'll be able to experience peace that will never happen. Over 200 people kidnapped, over 8 people killed in Taraba, and a few other places that these terrorists have actually like carried out their operation in the last few days alone, and there is no single rage anywhere. Just one sec, sorry. I quickly want to get documents. Thank you. There is no rage anywhere. And I'm like, some people will tell you that there is hope for Nigeria. And when people like us continue to remind you that apart from the fact that they are asking us to wait like the cows, waiting to be slaughtered, except for the fact they are asking us to wait, the other thing they are offering is the quick death, a possible economic hardship that will snuff life out of you, even without any terrorist shooting you in the head. So to live in Nigeria should be considered as one of the 100 ways to die. You see, the victims of IDP camps, you can call them refugees. Refugees are those who are running away from their homes because of insecurity or threats to their lives. These are survivors of the same Boko Haram who ended up in refugee camps, even though they will tell you, again and again, that Nigeria is not at war. But Nigeria is a place where the number of people killed by terrorists alone a day cannot be compared to even countries that are physically at war. Nigeria government did not make those terrorists as they don't really see them as terrorists. In some parts, their sponsor are also the same people in government. In fact, I saw a picture as well, by the way. I actually saw a picture of a young man that was also macheted, bloodied to death in Oyo. And what struck my mind was like, wait, if part of the reasons why so many of you opposed to the idea of sovereign Yoruba nation that can be able to protect and defend our own territorial integrity. If one of your reasons for that was that you were believing that a Yoruba man would never allow this act of terrorism to even take place or last a day, a Yoruba man will never watch Yorubas being slaughtered by Fulani terrorists, right? Now you are witnessing it. You are saying it. Now, a lot of you can now see clearly that opposing the idea of an independent Yoruba nation out of a contraption that has managed to keep all of us helpless, disarmed, and the terrorists harmed to the teeth. So the idea, those of you who oppose the idea for your selfish political gain or whatever that is, do you now see that it takes less than a year for that your theory of opposing what could have at least be the pathway not only to a safe, secure Yoruba land, including the prosperity, the progress of the nation? Now here we are, people who were running away from terrorists, abandoned by the Nigeria government, the system, and yet the terrorists still found them worthy to be kidnapped. And here we are, not a single statement or reaction from your government in Nigeria, right? So then we got that of the Taraba. In Taraba, I'm going to go take a look at the specific name of the local government, right? In that of Borno, according to the report, by the way, right? This took place in Ungala, local government area of Borno State. Then when you now go to Taraba, just the same day, in Taraba, well, 24 hours before that, in Taraba, the operation that lasted for hours and there was no single response. This also took place in an area called the Pambo Puri in Usa local government area of Taraba State. People are being slaughtered daily. And it is pretty much like it's nothing, like if you say people are being kidnapped, they will say, well, is it now that people are just being kidnapped? When you say people are being killed, they will say, is it, is it Ifnumbu or is it Buhari that is that's supposed to go and carry gun and defend the people that are being killed? Some of you will even say it like so freely that people should stop complaining. They should start defending themselves. You see, when people say this, I kind of believe that they are either not in the real know of, the real situation on ground and all the forces, right, that make it more easier for the terrorists, not only to move around, okay, but to carry out their operations most of the time with no resistance. Is either you are not there physically like myself, or that you are not there, you are also pretty much not paying attention to the details of information coming out of that place, or you are just ignorant completely. So I'll give you an idea. In Nigeria, the terrorism in Nigeria is not coincidence, it's not by accident, it's nothing. It is the accumulation, being accumulative of all other, problems, kind of. Sure, you get. Let's start from the genesis, which is the country built on lies. And to sustain these lies, you have to ensure that there is a sustainable systemic corruption. Now, when you have sustainable systemic corruption, somehow it is also, when corrupt people are really in charge for that long with the access to power and resources, so they're able to sort of drive the narrative of what they would consider as just and not just. So in this regard, corruption breeds poverty. Poverty breeds crimes. And because Nigeria has become a basket case of the poverty capital of the world, okay? So it is now easier for every kind of criminality to exist because there will be ready-made, available recruits for any kind of crime. So in this instance, an ideology, crooked, corrupt ideology could then be passed on and an army could be assembled. So when you now have an army assembled for an idea in a system that is deliberate, okay? So corruption that breeded poverty that has now created an army of poor people that are ready to serve any corrupt ideology. Remember, the genesis is from the system. Therefore, to protect those army of such ideology, the system must also protect them, must be there. They must keep that power. And that's what Nigeria has become. They created poverty. Up north, their own level of poverty, religious control, and the rest of that has managed to become this global terror cell in Africa. So northern Nigeria became the breeding ground. Why? Because the poverty that existed in northern part of Nigeria, which was man-made, deliberate, has managed to help those oligarchs and their criminal crew, right? To sustain their corrupt ideology and recruit army of poorly educated, poor background, and so many others, vulnerable people, population they created, that now form that army that has now become the jihad that has now become the terror group that has been terrorizing Nigeria for the past 60 years. Last 10 years has been the horrible one. You see now? So the terrorists in Nigeria are the creation of the system. They are sponsor. They are the members of the system. So when the system wants them to push their ideology and then all these killings you are witnessing, right? The same system put an idea in place that disarmed the soon-to-be killed citizens. That is you and me. They said we should hand over all our guns. If you are caught with a kitchen knife, you will be charged as a terrorist if you are from southern Nigeria. But you can be caught with AK-47. It doesn't matter. It is for your protection. So they disarmed the yet to be killed citizens, and these terrorists could do worse pain. They compromised the security system. Suddenly, Nigeria military became a CC military in Africa. Nigeria military. The same Nigeria military that went to Liberia, to Sierra Leone, that went to a few other places like that in Africa, even in some part of Asian countries, performed excellently well in their tasks in rescuing countries, saving countries from civil war, and all of that stuff, that their mark were actually really fell to. I'm not talking about the other side that probably people have to say about Nigerian soldiers in their countries. That same Nigeria military suddenly became so weak, compromised. We now see soldiers running away with guns. from their own barracks because some ragtag, ragtag terrorists are on their way to kill them in their own barracks. Who dare go to the military barracks and say you want to fight soldiers? Now we started witnessing, because the entire military structure, security structure, the corruption has eaten so deep that discipline is gone. What do you call that thing again? Patriotism. Patriotism is gone. Everyone is now trying to kind of have their own chance. Everybody wants to have their own shot to make their own quick buck. Nobody won't die for anybody. Sure you get? Because the entire system is so rigged and so corrupt. Their soldiers are being sent to their death in the hands of these ragtag thugs. It's because the system allowed it. So the people are not allowed to defend themselves. The system is so deeply corrupt that it disarmed our citizens. And within that same time, we saw the criminals, the jihadist APC, they were on Nigeria media telling everyone who cared to listen that a Fulani that is carrying AK-47 has the right to carry that. And he has the right to move about anywhere in Nigeria. But you, proud Nigerian, if they see you with blade, if they see you with knife, pocket knife, or what do you call it? Kitchen knife, you are gone. You know that, Abi? And that is where the problem is. So you can't tell people to defend themselves when you know that the system targets them. And even when the people put up the courage to fight back, and then probably defeat this terrorist, the system will come back and they will begin to pick the people that just survived terror attack. They will start picking all their young men, young boys and all that, and they will parade them as the people who caused the problems you read about 2 days ago. In fact, they are charging them for murder because they killed 2 Fulanis that came to kill them. We have seen that happen many times. So that is why a lot of people believe that, including myself, this rigged system is not in your interest. Even if they put your papa, which is the person who born you, where you think you believe, say you trust, in a single month, you will begin to look and say, now your papa be this or na Nigeria. The system is built, rigged against you. That somebody is Yoruba, somebody is Hausa, or Fulani, or Igbo, or Ijo, or any other ethnic nationality in Nigeria. Once they grab this rigged system, you will understand that they have no power to change anything for you. And you might think, this is just, it's just a say, one person can come in and blah, 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 blah. Yes, that is the reason why we are still here. Because there are some of you who believe that strongly. But to you, one person will come and just clear all the corrupt, then he will also come in and just clean all of the, what do you call it? The clash of the civilization that we are battling with. Of course, it won't happen. Because the country where you have over 250 ethnic nationalities fused and forced together to live together, when they speak over 500 languages among themselves, they do not understand themselves. We do not understand ourselves. There is no one man. There is no one solution. There's nothing one that can fix any of this. So now that we know that the system that allowed terrorists to re-victimize their victims. I mean, as if it is not enough. Your village is ransacked. Your community is attacked. There was no military, no police, no nothing. Then you survived it after they killed your family. Among other people from your own community that survived the attack, you were moved to a makeshift, abandoned government property somewhere, maybe school, dilapidated, and you are there. You are already abandoned. You have to fend for yourselves. You're surviving children and the rest of that. You know, people come around and give you things. Then while you are there, you battle. I mean, I can't imagine what this situation is like, right? For people to be in that position that they just lost all their loved ones, right? And they ended up in a place that is even more dangerous, unprotected. And many of them have been in those places for years. And you know something? Everyone, every government that said they will change their lives, they will make their lives better, they've made their lives worse. And every representative of every government, they've made more, I mean, they've become more richer, wealthier, simply because they are catering for the refugees. Nigeria is not at war, but Nigeria have over 10 million refugees. Nigerians in their own country, they are refugees. There are over 300,000 Nigerians in Niger Republic alone that are refugees running away from Boko Haram terror. There are over 450,000 Nigerians in Chad. Over 200,000 of them were received by this Borno government just about a year or so ago. That is safe for them to come back now. Here you get. So many of them are still there. Nigeria is not at war. Tell me any other country in the world that has such number of refugees. These are not just, I mean, we are not even talking about the 143 million Nigerians that they said are living in extreme, multi-dimensional poverty. These are just those who are women, children, who survived the terror up north, in the Middle Belt, in all these areas, in the last 12 years. But Nigeria is not at war. Tell me another country that has 10 million refugees. Do you think I make that number up, right? I'm actually being generous with that number. Northern Nigeria, especially Sharia North. Something has happened there that because of your coldness, because of your numbness to things like this, because, well, that's their problem. It's their family problem. It's none of your own problem. Let them continue with themselves. A lot of people who said that 8 years ago, especially from southern Nigeria, who never believed that anyone would point gun at them while they are traveling from Ekiti to Ondo, or they are traveling from Enugu to Owerri. That some people will camp in the forest and, point gun at them, speaking the language they don't understand, and march them into the forest for weeks, demanding ransom. There are those who never believed that would ever happen in southern Nigeria 8 years ago. In fact, I remember some of them who were like beating their chest. If they try all this nonsense, the day Boko Haram enter southern Nigeria, that's the day Nigeria will break up. I remember some of you were so bold to say that then. You're not saying that anymore. Okay, you are. Because I know that the number of those of you who now believe that Nigeria should break up, in all sincerity, has increased. Are you with me? If we see anybody today who still look at me and think I am the instigator, I am the one provoking this or that, I am just the conscience, the one that you don't like to listen to, the one that is right there telling you the right thing, but the right thing is so hard to swallow. I am that voice, because none of these things I'm saying to you is made up. None of them. There are things you know. There are things you never pay attention to. There are things you never care about because They are none of your business until they started becoming your business. A lot of you thought it's only that they will be kidnapping you and it's the only way you'll be affected by what was going up north. Then the advocacy for the Yoruba nation was not so loud as you have it now. Then, because a lot of those who are Yorubas too, they never believe anything like that will ever come to Yoruba. If they try it in Yoruba land, we will stand up and fight, only for us to start seeing the same Yorubas defending the Fulani terrorists because a Jaga bandit, Jaga addict was going to be the president of Nigeria. And that was enough. Until everyone is now realizing that it is nothing. You are just their meal tickets. A Yoruba man can say, oh yeah, who are the Yorubas in this room? Who are the and you say, oh, we are Yorubas. One moment too. I think I have a screen issue with my phone there. It's kind of been like back and forth. Sorry about that. She said that Yorubas in the room, raise up your hand. And then they raise up their hand and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, oh yeah, come. The Igbos in the room, oh yeah, raise up your hand. They say, we are Igbos, so 1, 2, 3, come. Oh yeah, Usas in the room. And you are just meal tickets. None of these people represent any of us. None. It is a foolish thing, okay, to do. Now, today, these people are destroying, and they've destroyed hundreds of millions and billions of, billions of naira worth of farms. You know what I mean? They've destroyed farms. They've destroyed people. They've killed people that do not share any border with Sharia North. But back then, today, if you see that Sharia North, half of it is controlled by terrorists. People are not allowed to go onto their farms. They are being chased out of their communities. We are talking about thousands of communities. Thousands. In fairness, we will be looking at about 15,000 communities across northern Nigeria that people have been displaced. And most of those places have been taken over by terrorists. Abi, you want to pretend to me now that you don't know that there are places in Nigeria that Nigerians are paying taxes to terrorists in Nigeria today? Okay. I believe you won't kind of pretend about that, because there are. Recently, in that same Niger state, a part of Niger state, Babangida state, Abdul Salami state, part of Niger state is controlled by terrorists. They may not tell you. Half of Borno state is controlled by terrorists. I'm talking about half of Borno state, where more than half of their local government areas in the entire state are controlled by terrorists. And they will tell you, now here Nigeria border reach. If you cross this one onward, you are on your own. Yes. And so on like that. Sokoto, Kerbi, Jigawa, all these places. People have to pay for them to be able to go to some of the farms. They have been taken over and the farmers have been killed. So at the end of the day, it has now escalated the poverty, not just in northern Nigeria, but all over Nigeria today. So people are not kidnapped, but right now they have kidnapped your economic power. Your purchasing power has been kidnapped. And every day, your thoughts, your mind are closing in, blaming yourself, almost like you would want to kill yourself or so. And I please beg you, don't. Because that's not going to help. So, I hope that now that I have told you, you probably can have a little bit of empathy, because that's all you can. Because if we ask you to demand for the freedom of those that have been kidnapped so far, right? You are pretty much powerless, aren't you? Anyway, going forward, I saw that this morning, and it was from yesterday, where Fubara said is ready to let go if Wike would not give him a peace. I'll share that with you. Remember, the line is also going to be opened, okay? Just for the glimpse.
He's a man who has touched and inspired many with his unwavering love for peace, respect for the rule of law, and justice.
No sacrifice will be too big for me to pay for the success of this administration. And the reason is very simple. It's not political love. It's not because I want to gain any favor from anybody. My interest and love for Adia State is genuine. I am not trying to say I want to be one man that will be there to decide the fate of all, no. But let River State remain.
Always calm and unassuming, Governor Sim Fubara has remained resilient even in the face of provocations and deliberate attempts to cripple his administration or render the state ungovernable by way of sabotage and an impeachment plot.
My burden at that time wasn't the issue of all the drama. It's the millions of Rivers people who had made sacrifice, who are seeing opportunity, and it looks as if their hope are being dashed. They were the ones I was worried about. What would be their fate? That was my trouble. It's not about me.
Despite the unprovoked assaults, Governor Fubara says he will continue to explore the path of peace. His quest for peace saw him making a number of sacrifices, including his acceptance of the lopsided December 18, 2023 presidential agreement. His decision did not go down well with many. But Governor Fubara says his acceptance of the agreement brokered by President Bola Tinubu was not born out of fear or pressure, but in the interest of the state and in view of the likely consequences the lingering political crisis might have on the development of the state.
If leaving this position is what I need or what is needed to bring more peace in the state, I can even tell you because I won't take it. It's not about me. People should understand that definitely I'm here. I will go. But River State will still remain.
His sacrifice and desire for peace in River State is now being recognized at home and abroad. The Silverbird Group on Sunday conferred on him its first Peace Advocate Award.
I am the governor. No matter what it is, there are things I could have done. And there would have been total crisis. But your ability to restrain in the face of crisis is when you have the power to do things. It's maturity.
Governor Sim Fubara adds that he is strongly optimistic that a greater River State is possible, stressing that peace is the foundation that will help.
The peace is the foundation, and I could have reason and the rest of that. Anyway, that's from Rivers, okay? Wale Edun, the finance minister of Tifnumbu, has now come out to say not Binance, but the Buhari printing money with nothing to back it for 8 years is the reason why all of you are suffering hardship and all of that in Nigeria today. Is that not what Mayegun has been saying for the past same 8 years? And the people that defended Buhari for that 8 years, some of them are still alive. And some of them are watching me right now. And they are still the same people who are telling you that you should give Tifnumbu chance because Buhari destroyed Nigeria. You know, say you owe me apology. I know say you no go apologize. Olori Buruku ni apologize because right now you are already doing the same thing for Tifnumbu. Now, Nigeria has been ruined by Buhari that you defended for 8 years. Oh, Nigeria. Kò ṣàmì bí tó wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Oh, ní ṣe kí ni o. Oh, ní jèrè. Àfà.
Gbogbo tó rí onílọ́wọ́ máa ń bọ̀ tó a bá kọ́ tó a bá mú a ò ní jèrè ọmọ rẹ̀. Èmi ọ̀bẹ yẹn, èmi ṣépè fún yẹn.
Ó wà nábì.
Ìwọ àjẹkí Mùsùlùmí ó ní lárí nù. Ìjọ òdi ẹrọ náà lọ nù. Ìjọ òdi ẹrí àárín gbà lọ́dọ̀ Olódùmarè. Ìdí pé bá lẹ́ni ẹni tó yẹ wọ́n ṣàṣà láti tẹ̀. Owó tó fún wọn wọ́n ṣàṣà láti tẹ̀. Àwọn ọmọ tó wọ́n mú a ò ní jèrè.
I am not asking you to bring money. I am asking you to walk towards the altar now. Yeah, walk towards the altar of the temple. And kneel, walk towards the front of your TV now and kneel down and apologize that the man that warned you, this young man that continued to tell you that you are headed for the Golgotha, you are headed for the rock at over 500 meter per hour speed. Emma crash. You spend that your toro kobo, your little peanuts. You spend them for 8 years telling this man to shut up. But he didn't shut up. Right now, you are agreeing with Wale Edun that Buhari destroyed Nigeria when he was printing money. The money, Naira, that wasn't backed with anything. And for Nigeria to recover, for Tifnumbu to fix Nigeria, it will take them more than 10 years. Have you heard that? Nigeria. You see, all of you that have lost so much, you have lost so much to these criminals who never really have any idea of how to run a country. This bunch of propagandists, career criminals, they do not have any iota of idea of how to indeed run a country or run anything at all, except if they are running it aground. Buhari blamed PDP of 16 years waste of PDP. And you agreed with him while he was destroying every fabric of that contraption, including the fake unity that they told you that is non-negotiable. Fake unity. It destroyed everything. It made all of us realize who we are. Everybody know. You say, you shall know thyself. You must know thyself. You have to know thyself. Now, Buhari forced everybody to know their place. That was when it was clearer that more Nigeria is turn by turn Nigeria limited. When it gets to your turn, you can do all the fuck all you want. There will be no consequences. Buhari was that example. Now, it destroyed lives, destroyed Nigeria, divided Nigeria, divided Nigerians, turned them to Nigerians, exposed Nigeria, and all of the fables, the lies they told us growing up became so open that a lot of us would never be going back. No thanks to Buhari and their failed jihadist regime. Throughout that time, Tifnumbu was beating his chest. I made him president. If not me, Buhari will never be president. Tinubu in 2019, when the shit first hit the fan, it was this Jaga Wiri, Jaga Addicti, Jaga Banditi. Some said Jaga Pupu, Abina Jaga Pampasi was the one who also gave economic advice to Buhari. Print more money. He said it. And now you have him. Buhari printed over 27 trillion naira, shared the money to the 36 state governors and themselves. Okay, let me tell you. Buhari printed 27.5 trillion naira in 8 years and took 55% of that money and gave 45% to the 36 state local governments and 774 local government areas. You will need to arrest 774 people plus another 774 people. This is going to be their deputies, okay? Then you're going to arrest all of the councillors